everyone. I got challenged or tagged by Rose Likes Crochet to answer the 23 questions thing. And first of all, I just want to thank Rose for even thinking of me, because sometimes in the crochet world, I feel like I'm very inconsequential. So that she would even think of me, mwah, to Rose. Thank you so much. Okay, so what I did was I listed the 23 things to answer, and I have them written out on my computer. And so we will start with number 1, favorite color, and that would be pink, but also anything in the red spectrum. That's my favorite, because I'm wearing something in the pink. Okay, music. That's number 2. My favorite kind of music is classical music. My favorite composer is Beethoven, and but I also really like listening to soundtracks of movies. I think there's just some really great stuff out there, and but I will have to say, I don't when I'm writing, I don't like any singing in the music that I'm listening to, especially if the singing is in my native tongue of English, because that interferes with characters talking in my head, to hear English singing going on. Now, if it's in another language, I'm fine, because it sort of is meaningless to me, but yeah. Also, if you've never heard the soundtrack to the movie Lion, it is great. And you should also watch the movie Lion if you ever get a chance. True story. Okay, number 3, favorite food. Well, when you're talking about food, there's just different categories. There's dessert, there's main dish, there's entrees, there's snacks. So I'm just going to list a few of my favorite foods. Let's see, I don't know if I should list this one twice, but I will just say, okay, barbecue chicken pizza. And yes, pineapple does go on pizza, but only in certain combinations. And it goes really well with barbecue. Also love shrimp cocktail. Oh, I could eat a ton of those. Love fish tacos. I love Reuben sandwiches. Oh my goodness, just give me a good Reuben sandwich, but don't put the corned beef like 6 inches high. Just, make everything nice and evenly combined. I love sandwiches in general, so pretty much any sandwich is good. Love gingerbread, love fried chicken, love orange chicken from Panda Express. Okay, number 4, favorite soda, absolutely, unequivocally, would be Dr. Pepper. Most sodas are okay with me. I don't drink a lot of soda, but I will drink pretty much anything except root beer, which I can't even stand the smell of. So, but yeah, it's Dr. Pepper, 100% if I can get it. Okay, number 5, favorite animal. Well, I'm not going to include dogs or cats because those are very obvious. So I'm going to talk about my favorite non-dog or cat animals. And it just so happens that 3 of my favorites start with a P. And that's penguin, wait a minute, where am I? Penguin, platypus, and puffin. Love those little guys. Okay, number 6, favorite holiday. And that would be Christmas, only because I just love Christmas decorations and all the cheeriness it brings. I just love the lights and the festiveness of it. Yeah, it would have to be Christmas. Okay, number 7, favorite book. Okay, number 1 would be the Bible, but aside from the Bible, number 2 would be, and I've mentioned this in a video before, would be the book called Endurance by Alfred Lansing, and it's about Sir Ernest Shackleton's polar exploration that went pretty terribly wrong, and yet everybody survived. And as a caveat to that, they just recently, I think like back in maybe February, they found where his ship was sunk in the Antarctic. Really cool. Okay, number 8, favorite pizza. Well, I already mentioned it in the barbecue chicken pizza. There used to be a place in lower Hollywood, Los Angeles, called Reese BC, and they're not there anymore. They've been gone for over 20 years. But oh, they made the greatest barbecue chicken pizza with red onions and cilantro. Oh my goodness, you could just eat that stuff forever. Okay, favorite pastime. Well, I would say my new favorite pastime would be gardening, and then also shopping for gardening stuff. So yeah, those things I'm really getting a little bit of a high off of lately. Okay, number 10, favorite TV show. I don't really watch TV because I don't like have cable or anything. So whatever TV I do see, I see on the Disney Plus subscription. So so the favorite things that I like to watch on there are Wicked Tuna and Wicked Tuna Outer Banks and Life Below Zero. Love those shows. And Sue Aiken on Life Below Zero, she is an amazing woman. So if you've never seen Life Below Zero, I mean, you should definitely watch it. Favorite fruit, number 11, would probably be banana. I don't buy very many bananas because sometimes I buy them and then I don't eat them. And you could say, well, you just make banana bread, but how many bananas that you haven't eaten can you put in your freezer? I just get too many, so I have to pitch them. And I don't bake a whole lot. So anyways, it's banana. I wish it were some other things. I would love to say it was watermelon, but I haven't had a good watermelon or a good strawberry in I don't know how long. They are just bland and tasteless from the grocery store. So I'll be growing my own strawberries and those will be good. Not growing watermelon, that takes up too much room. I think there are places that you can get good watermelon, just not in the grocery store. Okay, anyways, number 12, favorite vegetable. I don't know that I have a favorite vegetable, but there are vegetables that I like. I like Swiss chard and beet greens and green beans and broccoli, and I pretty much like everything except asparagus. Don't ever give me asparagus. I hate asparagus. Asparagus and root beer and black licorice are the 3 foods in life I absolutely will not eat. Although if I was starving and I was completely dehydrated, I would give in to the root beer and the asparagus, but I would never ever give in to black licorice. Ever. Ugh. Okay, number 13, favorite subject in high school would have been creative writing. And yeah, I was allowed to be in creative writing, which was supposed to be like a junior senior class, but I went in as a sophomore. I was the only sophomore in the class because I had taken private lessons from the creative writing teacher, and so I was allowed in the class. Okay, number 14, favorite actor or actress. It just varies. Sometimes I just get really hooked on one person and I'll just watch all their stuff, and then I've got my fill of that person, then I move on to somebody else. So I can't really say that I have a favorite at the moment. Okay, singer, favorite singer, number 15. I'm going to recategorize that as favorite singer or musician. So let's see, how do I answer that? Okay, favorite singers would probably be either Julie Andrews, Sally Ann House, but give me a good lyric tenor any day and I am just in heaven. Like if you've ever heard the concert of the three tenors, which had Placido Domingo, Jose Carreras, and Luciano Pavarotti. Of those three, Jose Carreras I would think is maybe the lyric tenor. And a lyric tenor is just kind of a sweeter tenor. It's hard to describe exactly. I mean, you could look it up, what is exactly a lyric tenor, but it's an audio difference. Hard to explain. But as far as musicians, I also just love violinist Maxim Vengerov. If you've ever heard him play, if you've ever heard him teach a master class, that is absolutely brilliant to listen to. The way he hears his music and teaches his students to hear and interpret. Amazing stuff. Okay, number 16, favorite superhero. That would have to be Superman. I don't like the old Superman with George Reeves, but from Christopher Reeve forward, I love all those Supermans, and I really like the newest one played by Henry Cavill, and I think he's just brilliant, and I was very heartbroken to hear that he might not continue, but then they did something, and so he's back in the mix again. Because it's just like, you get this new Superman, and you really like him, and then they change to a new Superman that you'll probably really like anyways, but you just wish they wouldn't change so often. Anyhow, so we have Henry Cavill right now. He's not hard on the eyes, and he just does a really good job with Superman. In fact, one of my go-to movies that I watch, I don't know, 2 or 3 times a year is Man of Steel. Another go-to movie that I watch a lot of is Alice Through the Looking Glass. It's the sequel to Alice in Wonderland that was directed by, I can't think of his name, but and they both have Johnny Depp as the Mad Hatter. But the second one, it's just so much better in my mind than the first one. So if you haven't seen Alice Through the Looking Glass, it's great. Okay, number 17, favorite comedian. And I'm gonna go with stand-up comedian. I only recently discovered Julio Iglesias, or Fluffy. I think Rose Likes Crochet mentioned him too. I guess I've discovered him in the last year or so. But also who I just discovered, and she's a little crude at times, but that's an English woman named Sarah Millican. Gosh, is she funny. Oh, she is so funny. Okay, number 18. Favorite season would be late fall or early spring when it's still cool, like in the 60s during the day. Now, that's cool for Southern California. So that's what I like, is when it's in the 60s. And when the nights are in the 40s. That's really cool. Okay, number 19, favorite movie. If you don't know this about me already, I'm going to go into a little bit of an explanation. Favorite movie is Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Now, there are problems with Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. And the biggest problem is that it can't decide whether it's a romance or it is a child's movie. And in my mind, when you really analyze it, it is actually a romance. And because if you know the movie at all, and you know they all go to the beach, and the dad begins to tell a story. Everything from that point on till towards the end of the movie, when he's not telling the story anymore, is his point of view on everything. And that's what makes it a romance, is because he tells stories of Truly Scrumptious singing a song called Lovely Lonely Man about him. He's telling that story. That's not reality. He's telling a story of her being a doll on a music box, talking about, well, it's really a metaphor for being in high society and being forced in that mold. And he's telling that story of her singing that while he's singing Truly Scrumptious and how much he loves her. He's telling this whole story. The whole thing of the child catcher is really about Truly Scrumptious, because she's the first one who caught the children in the very beginning of the movie. So it's all just this metaphor, and by the end it's really just a love story. Totally. The whole thing is a love story. It's not really a kid's movie, although it appeals to kids, but when you look at it as an adult, it is a love story. Okay. Barely covered that, but that's my take on it. Okay. Number 20. A favorite smell. I have a lot of them, so I'm just going to say baking yeast bread. Oh, love the smell of that. I love the smell of cilantro. I know that's a love-or-hate situation. I just happen to love it. Love lilacs, lily of the valley, and citrus trees when they're blooming. Oh, that's just heavenly. Okay. Number 21, best friend. I'm not sure, because since moving out to California like 33 years ago, I've had like temporary best friends, and I don't have one at the moment out here. But I have a lot of close friends, but I wouldn't say I have a bestie. 22, favorite decade. Well, that would be at the beginning of the 20th century, during what they called the heroic age, and that was an age of polar exploration. I just love polar exploration. If I ever get a chance, if I ever had the money, I would take a cruise ship to Antarctica. Yeah, I would. Okay, number 23, and the last one is favorite YouTube channel, and I couldn't name one over the other. I'm not going to list any crochet channels, but I can tell you the kinds of channels I listen to and watch. Number one would be Christian channels. I listen to a lot of different pastors. I watch gardening channels. This is a weird one, but I sometimes watch those food challenges, like with Randy Santel or Katina Eats Kilos, or Beard Meets Food. Excuse me. But you know, their video might be 20 minutes long, and they sit down with this enormous platter, and they have a certain time limit, and I'm like, I hate to say it, but I just kind of skipped to the end. Did they make it or didn't they? I don't need to watch them eat for 20 minutes. Okay. I also like to watch videos of people watching movies for the first time. I've seen a zillion of Lord of the Rings people watching, because actually I learn a lot about the movie by watching other people's first impressions of it, and I'm like, oh yeah, why didn't I ever pick up on that after 20 times of seeing the movie? I don't know. I also watch videos of preppers and get some good information there. I watch Trent and Allie, Kara and Nate, and here's one that I just discovered in the past few weeks, and it's Meg Tilly's, actress Meg Tilly. She has a channel called Meg's Cozy Tea Time, and she has less than 3,000 subscribers, so go check her out. I'll put a link below. And yeah, so that's my 23 questions. I'm going to tag a few people if I can figure out how to make that work, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye bye.